Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now, Captain Finance himself, Sully.
What is Captain Finance nonsense?
Captain Finance. Are you kidding?
What's happening? We're changing
PF for short.
Great to have you along today. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Mary and Greg and myself and Mike, another bowl of Funyuns, Costa. You know, I would love to take Devin and Howie out of nowhere while Mike is here at the studio, a visit to Mike's house with his wife giving a tour of what is in
the pantry.
What is in that pantry. I think that would be a fantastic thing. Speaking of Howie Font, he joins us here today, of course, from New York. Great to have you along. And we were talking last time with Howie about that emergency fund. You ever go home and do any thinking about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Greg?
Got some couple hundred bills under the mattress now.
Yeah.
Doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's a safe place for him too.
Yeah,
mattress, right in the mattress.
Well, listen though, but you have to.
Right
If something went south again and you couldn't get the ATM, you got to keep a little cash at home.
Oh, for sure. Small bills too, I'm told.
I hear you're supposed to keep it like right on. Like, don't put it in the bedroom in the closet.
Right.
You're supposed to put it like right out there in front next to the frickin' Cheez-Its. You know, like just set it there It needs to be obvious by its, what is it called? It's hidden in plain sight.
Okay. My daughter got
like the old coffee can trick.
Yeah, my daughter got it.
I'm talking about literally like see this picture here?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this little decorative box with $1,000 in it.
So
Okay.
Right? Last year, Lexi got a piggy bank, but it's a glass jar with, it only goes one way in. You can't get anything out until you break it.
Well, it's piggy bank.
Yes, but I mean,
Hence
piggy bank, you
the piggy
pull
bank.
it out the bottom. You didn't have to break it.
Oh, they had that on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of
Do you
them.
guys remember that? Well, you don't, because you didn't grow up in town. But we used to go to Mexico, and at the border they always sell these ceramic piggy banks.
Oh yeah.
But there was the monkey on the surfboard.
Oh, of course, the surfing monkey.
Do you have that?
I had that.
I was going to get you one for Christmas.
No, of
All right, very
course.
good. I want to talk about something really weird that Howie brought up, and this
dear.
just bothers me, Howie, that you brought this up. That Howie sends me an email that says this: to maintain a population, you need a replacement rate of 2 to 1 people per couple, 2.1 people per couple, and that accounts for the deaths of those without children. Thanks for bringing up such a happy subject there, Howie. What does this have to do with money or business?
Yeah.
This has real economic effects. I thought it'd be interesting.
right.
I mean, no, I bring it up because the U.S. Birth rate declined again. We're in the 1.6, 0.7 range right now, and like you said, it's 2.1 people per couple need to be created. So yeah, the 0.1 is for all the not happy stuff. But the poster child for this is Japan. Their rate is only 1.2, so they're not even replacing their own parents.
Well, so what is the problem with the shrinking population? That sounds like a country like Japan. Seems like it would, or China would help, with social programs and just the way life goes. It ebbs and flows, like the Elliott wave principle. Sometimes populations are high, sometimes they're low. And of course, right now with the economic condition of Japan, probably can't hurt to cull the herd naturally to see if there's what's happening. What's happening? Why is it bad to have a shrinking population?
Yeah, so the problem is populations historically have only really gone in one direction, up. So Korea, Japan, a couple other places are the first maybe of a new wave of shrinking populations. So it's dangerous because economic output falls. Japan for the last 10 years, for example, has only had 0.5% growth, where we only consider ourselves healthy if GDP in the U.S. is growing between 2 and 3%.
So there's less people to make stuff, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, very simply, less people, less stuff, total tonnage. Now, per capita, Japan's doing fine, but, when the total tonnage, if that happened to the U.S., there'd be a serious problem because we rely on our size to maintain our dominance.
All right, stay there. I got questions about this.
Yep.
Because Greg and I think less is more. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Don't know anywhere. We'll see you in a second. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Good to have you along. Howie Font telling us about emergency funds and Christmas funds and why you can't afford it. So, Howie, here's my question for you. The question is, if you're living just above the poverty line, like many Americans are, and I don't know what the percentage of Americans are, how in the world can you put aside 3 to 6 months worth of expenses? Let's say raw expenses are, let's just say, a meager $2,000 a month to live on. Okay, how do you put away the extra money to get that $6,000, or as you even say, $12,000? If it's a 6 month thing, what's the trick there?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. To explain the poverty line thing, if you're double the poverty line, the line the federal government draws on who's rich and poor,
if you're double the poverty line, how much you making per year?
30 grand.
30 grand.
And
that's double the poverty line.
That's a third of the population.
That's $576.92 per week. So $576.92 per week is $30,000 a year. If you think, Rain Man.
I was like, that was. Did anyone catch that?
I was trying to fact check that actually.
Do some radio math. You'll find
that was weird.
576.92 weeks. Okay, so if you're making that $30,000 a year, okay, you're taking home. Well, it depends on your deductions, but you're probably $576.92. You're probably taking home $425 a week. Okay, that's $1,700 a month. Well, 425 times 52. You're taking home about $1,767 a month. So long story short is, how in the world are you going to find rent for, let's say, a quarter of your paycheck, which is roughly $500? And how does that work, Howie? Because it just seems like an uphill battle. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Not easily is the reason. And my point in bringing this up today is that, these people in these situations are who needs an emergency fund the most. So let's try and find a way to make it work. First of all, like I said, you have to watch expenses, and there's not a lot of room in that budget. You also can't let credit card debt build up. You can't go negative because that just reverses your momentum. So,
but Howie, not to interrupt you, let me bring up one thing though.
Please.
I argue that I could find $100 in almost everyone's budget, and I'm not talking about people that are living literally not eating. I'm talking about most Americans who think they can't afford things. I can find money, because what they don't do is the envelope system. And if you do the envelope system, you'll find out how much money you have left. If you create a real budget, and the real budget is, of course, your mortgage or your rent, car payment if you have one, utilities, and then let's go to haircuts, nail salon.
Netflix.
Let's go to Netflix. And the 17 accounts Greg and I have, because we seem to, right? I mean, if you go through with a fine tooth comb and find out your real budget, and then you say, okay, here's my grocery budget, okay? Here's my gas and electric budget. And you take that money, you take the amounts of those money and put it in an envelope every month, okay? So let's say you give yourself $20 a week for entertainment. I'm talking about a meager thing here. You put your $80 in an envelope, okay? If your grocery bill is $100 a week, you put that $400 into an envelope. If your SCG is this, you pay everything in cash. And the philosophy goes like this. When you go Christmas shopping, if you pay with a debit card, you will spend roughly 35% more money than if you use cash, because you just don't see it. If you're showing that. Now, the real way to do this in financial need analysis is you create two accounts. You create one account that says Mary's top line account, and then you have Mary's checking account. Paycheck goes to the top line account, and if you know what your budget is every month, you drop down to the bottom line, only what you need, and there's a little bit left over every month, because I guarantee most people can find, with their Red Bull's Slim Jim, stopping at the 7-Eleven, with their Starbucks, the Latte Factor, a little bit extra money. Now, I'm not reprimanding here, because I'm not suggesting everybody can do it, but there are, if you really want to go through a painful exercise, go look at your bank statement with your debit card and your credit cards and figure out if you had no choice whatsoever but to cut the superlative or superficial expenses, how much money did you really have? And I bet you have an extra $100. Sure. I bet you have an extra $100.
Well, the Apple Pay just doesn't help. The click of a button, you know what I mean? That is like actually changes the game, because I'm thinking cash.
Guys, I want to talk to the musicians.
I don't carry cash in my wallet.
I want to talk to the musicians, because musicians, when you guys are sidemen in bands in the past, You don't know when your next gig's coming, so when you have money, you put it in an account and you drop down your expenses. It's like running a business, right?
Right.
And you guys have learned that a long time ago, right? It's a natural thing for you guys. Yeah. Don't you think that more Americans could benefit from taking that sort of thought where I'm putting money in my business account and here's my personal account? Because let's say you're making X plus 10 one month and you're making X minus 10 the next month, but the same amount's dropping down. It evens itself out. And I think there's ways to do that. I think that Americans could benefit from that. Howie, if there's seasonality to your income, let's say you're a retail person and you get commissions and stuff like that, what's the answer there?
I think the answer there is the same as when you get a raise. I think you need to make sure that you have one minimum floor that you run your life on. And if a little bit extra comes because there's a seasonal bump, take advantage of that and put that away, but don't change your lifestyle. And conversely, if things go down, stop saving, forgive yourself, it's okay. And then Mary said two things I just want to follow up on. One, Netflix. It's the perfect example of, one of the marginal budget items that you were talking about, Sully, that are really going to kill you. And then two, the Apple Pay thing. Yeah, cash is way better for feeling it hit your budget. I mean, the friction, it's so easy just to tap the phone.
Would you suggest people, when people put money, and I always tell people like the Dave Ramsey method, and Dave and I have known each other for many years, and he has a thing called baby steps and we had things called first things first, but basically what it was is that before you invest money, you pay off your credit cards all the way. You put away some money under the mattress, literally under the mattress in case a 9/11 happens again. You want to have actual cash. Then you want to put away 3 months expenses in a savings account, and then, and only then, start investing money. Now, let's say people are paying off credit card debt, but also need an emergency fund. Would you suggest a 50-50 split? If you want to pay, $50 a month off your credit cards, put 25 towards your credit cards, put 25 towards your emergency fund, or do you think you do the credit cards first and save the emergency fund for later because you can always depend on your credit cards again?
Well, you mentioned Dave Ramsey. He's got advice on this that I think is pretty sound. That $400 number bothers me a lot. I would save some small emergency fund first, and then I would attack the credit card debt, which is copying Dave. But I think it's sound advice because debt is reverse investing. It just kills you, and it pulls you back. So if
debt is reverse investing. That's smart to think about that.
Yeah.
That's so.
For sure.
So I used to do a show called 7 Questions. And the 7 questions, I used to interview celebrities, and I would say, what's your earliest memories of money and what was your first job? But one question I always said is, what did your parents teach you about money? What are you doing, Mary? Because my kids, listen, do you know why we started TikTok Money a couple years ago, which I'm not active in. We still have a million or so active views on that thing. We started TikTok Money because my girls, who were in their mid-20s, said, Dad, you tell the whole world about money, but you've never taught us about anything about money, and there's no financial literacy in school. Is there?
No.
Are they teaching people that right?
Unfortunately not. There used to be, but
yeah. So what do you do with your kids? Do you take the time to do it?
No, I try. That's it. Because I didn't have it very much, so I don't have a lot to impart to them. So we're all learning it. I feel
what
like
I was taught was save all your money, which nobody's going to do.
But
save all your money.
And here's the day. Well, this is a question I wanted to ask for Howie. It's a very basic question of the savings part of it. Do you suggest getting a high yield savings account in your same where, if you're saving that $100 a month, let's say, to create that nest egg account, where do you put it? And to make sure you're not then drawing from it and it's growing.
Yeah, so I like the combination for a couple of reasons of a money market fund, for a combination of reasons. One, you have the higher interest rate. So if you put things in a savings account at your bank with your checking and your savings, that rate's not going to be competitive. If you go into a money market fund, your money's going to be just as safe, but you'll make a real rate of return, something close to.
But wait a second. Let's talk about rates of return. You can get 1% in a passbook savings account, and if you go online, maybe 1.2%. Why not just save it in cash and put it in the freezer, and put it in a baggie in the freezer, then put that baggie in another baggie and put water and freeze it? I mean, honestly, why do you? I mean, if you don't want access to it and you don't want to give it to somebody else,
you don't want it to grow a little bit.
What's one? You're not beating inflation. You're actually losing.
Not enough.
No. You're losing money.
Yeah. Okay.
If inflation, what is our real inflation rate? Our true inflation rate right now is probably close to 8%. It's what is it? Clocking at 4 or 5%. But if you put gas and food in, which is the only thing we really care about, clocks at 8%. If you're getting 1%, you're losing 7% anyway.
Well, and that's easier. You're going to lose some people. The second you say money market account, people are going to say, I don't know what that means, so I'm not doing it.
And sometimes you need more money than that. Howie?
Right, so pull it out.
Thanks for making this feel horrible. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow.
My job.
We may bring you back for this, but Howie. So here's what I want to ask you guys: is it too early to say, okay, Fuller, you got $1, put 50
far too early. Yeah, he just doesn't understand.
Plus, he sees his dad go out there buying surfboards and tequila. Like it's going to business.
It's,
Would you? I mean, have you ever thought about that though? Because I don't remember, and I've been in this business since my kids were little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Never sat down and talked to him how to write a check.
I know. I need to, because they're starting to make money.
Yeah,
my kids are starting.
I have, and it makes me nervous how to get through to them, because if I'm going to be teaching them something, shouldn't I be teaching them the way they're going to use it? I don't think we're going to be writing checks in 5 years.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. There's a whole paradigm shift going on with your money.
Right.
It may be done for you.
Right.
It could be easier. Who knows? Big Biz Show. See you in a minute. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, Big Biz Show rolling on from sunny Southern California. Inside the Loft 100 studios. So hope you guys are having a great day. We certainly are. Costa, Mary Godwin, Greg Todorov, and Sully. He is the chairman and CEO of Smartkem. Their ticker symbol is SMTK. We welcome to the show Mr. Ian Before
Jenks.
we do that, you saw a video yesterday.
I did. I went to their website to look at this. It is fascinating. And I'm always like, turn my screen up. I can't see the screen. You say this to me all the time. Just turn it up on my computer.
Right.
He's got the solution for us.
This is micro LED TV. And again, Ian Jenks. Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to come out on this crazy show. You had no idea what you're getting into here. But how are you? Good to see you.
That's probably true, but thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for staying up. I know that it's that you're in the UK, and I appreciate you staying with us. Can you give us an overview a little bit of Smartkem and of course what you talk about? Our calibrated eyeball knows what's wrong, and you guys are here to fix what's wrong.
Sure. So Smartkem makes semiconductor polymers. Those polymers are used to make a new generation of sheets of transistors, and those transistors drive a new type of display made from micro LEDs. So if we look at what's happened in the display industry in, say, the last 40, 50 years, if you're old enough, you as a child might have sat down in front of those cathode ray tubes.
A tube, yeah.
Yeah, the tube. And then, the guys at Samsung brought out that brilliant LCD, and it took the market. This is a $250 billion
in between there,
market.
You remember we had that rear projection. Large screen.
Yeah, there were all sorts of things that actually didn't really improve things. And then we went into the OLED when LG brought that out. And the thing about us is we are all experts at displays because we all have what I call the calibrated eyeball. We can all walk into Best Buy, look around, and we will all pick out that screen where the color's brighter, the contrast is great, and everything just pops, and we'll all pick out the same one.
Can you tell us? Pardon me. If I look at an LED versus 1040 HD, is that different? Am I talking about two different things here?
Yeah, two different things. One's simply the technology of the LED, which is that little bit on the display that glows red, green, and blue. And the 1080 HD or the 8K is the resolution of the screen.
Ian, my brother-in-law, who you don't know, and it doesn't matter here. No, I'm just saying, he's one of those guys where I got to have the best, I got to have the first that's on the market. And he has one of those 9K or whatever 8K TVs, and there's like 4 channels he can view with that technology. My question is, how fast is the technology changing in your area of expertise?
So the technology is changing, I think, incredibly quickly because if you've ever seen a micro LED TV and you forked out that $150,000 to buy one, then you will see that your calibrated eyeball says it's absolutely fantastic. And the problem is it's really difficult to make. So we are just starting the process with one of Taiwan's leading TV manufacturers, AUO, to make a brand new type of display, which is actually a micro LED based display, but it's actually going to be transparent. So you'll be able to see through it.
Wow.
Well, and Ian, it seems like your technology is just completely different than what's out there right now. And what did I see about something liquid? You're pouring it onto, I don't even know all the technical terms, so you need to tell me.
Absolutely. So polymers start life as a liquid. And so today, all transistors, when you make them on silicon wafers, they're all made of inorganic things. So what we do is we take a sheet of micro LEDs, which are just placed on a piece of glass, and we literally pour our liquids over the top of them, and then we process them to make transistors. And in doing that, we solve the yield problems that people have, and which is that when they turn that process upside down the way they do it today, they can't actually make it. And it's so that's what we do.
This is what you refer to as a chip-first technology, correct?
It's the chip-first technology. So we put the chip down first, we put the little connectors up. So these micro LEDs, they're the same things that you see in your LED light bulbs. I've got a whole studio full of them above me.
Sure.
But they are 1/20,000th of the size. And that gives you all sorts of terrible problems in terms of how you actually take these, you put 25 million of them on a 40-inch TV, and then you've got to weld all of those to 25 million transistors.
Hey, Ian, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
To use your parlance of going into the Best Buy and taking a look at televisions, what are we going to see differently now? What is it an obvious difference? I mean, I saw the video as well. It's difficult to put into words, but I'll let you explain it because it seems to be a game changer. Just as a tube went to LED went to rear projection, went to LED, so on and so forth. It seems to be a completely different technology to where you're there versus you're watching.
It's absolutely a completely different technology. So when you have things that are, have the full color gamut that you see with your natural eye, and when you have things which are sufficiently bright, you completely change not just the user experience in terms of the color and the contrast and the pop, but you actually start to be able to film in slightly different techniques and get genuine, true life images.
Ian Jenks is the CEO, chairman of Smartkem. Their ticker symbol is SMTK. Ian, you said chips, like fish and chips?
Yeah, always like fish and chips.
Always comes down
to food. When do you think this technology becomes one of those situations where we as just normal consumers can walk into that Best Buy and buy it and afford it?
I think we're probably 2, maybe 2.5 years away from that point at the moment.
Awesome.
We are just in the process of, as I say, starting this big project with AUO in Taiwan. At the same time, we're putting up a prototyping production line again in Taiwan with the guys at ITRI. So, ITRI is this big research organization that actually span out TSMC, who makes all the NVIDIA chips. So we're working with those guys on the process. We're working with the AUO, the biggest display manufacturer, and we're using our own process technology with another display company called Right Display, and we're converting one of their lines into a prototyping line now. My experience would say it's probably 2.5 years from now till you actually see.
That is the speed of light. I mean, really. No pun intended. I mean, that is so fast in your industry. I have to say, Ian, we don't. I have another 30 questions for you, real quickly before I let you get out of here. What are you looking most forward to this year? What are the milestones this year that you can share with us as a CEO of a public company?
Sure. So I think the biggest milestone will be the establishment of a prototyping line. This is all about now, as far as I'm concerned, about commercialization. So that's going through all the lifetime testing. And to do that, you need to make these prototype displays. So we'll get a line going with Right Display, and we'll actually start to demo small displays, so think size
Right
of your
here in this
laptop.
studio. We want you to. We need to get you in San Diego.
Yeah, we need 4
Let's do
demos
it.
in studio right now.
Yeah, be delighted to come back and show
Ian,
you guys.
you're definitely coming back. That's for sure.
He's Ian Jenks, Chairman, CEO, Smartkem. Again, their ticker symbol is SMTK. Changing the world with our type of eyeball he was talking about. All right, speaking of changing the world, we're trying to do it. Continue here in Southern California from the Loft 100 studios. It is the Big Biz Show. Wherever you are viewing this large financial program, thanks for being along for the ride. Costamir, Godwin, Greg Todorov, and Sully.
So every once in a while, the band comes up with something good.
Really?
JMO, I have to say thank you for this one because of James and his supple like marble skin.
Oh, God.
Because of his friends over at Stemology Skincare. He brings us Brett Williams. Brett,
So
welcome to the
excited.
program. All right, good to see you, man.
Can
How you
I
doing?
want to start busting this open even before you start talking.
Let's open one of these
Let's
first.
bust that
Oh,
open.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
like
take
that.
You
that,
said
I'll
you had a
take that.
bar.
Are you
so
also a
I'm like-
bourbon
I like that
manufacturer?
even better.
So it's from the Wayne family. There's a whole place called High Times in Newport where I live, and
Wow.
I just discovered that. So
awesome.
Merry Christmas.
Well, if you discover, oh no, that's not your bottle because the one you discover is half empty.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stemology Skincare, you guys are a privately owned company,
Yeah.
and so you decide to go into the skincare area. What makes you do that? What makes a person say, I know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the watch business or the shoe business or the skin business.
Yeah, I jumped from construction to
That makes sense.
skincare. Yeah, it's totally,
I see that
totally
leap,
legit. Yeah. No, I'm a good old welder boy from my dad and my brothers. And my father-in-law, first of all, thank God, all the reasons I'm here today, James, everything, my church, my homeboys, playing everything, I wouldn't be here without all that. So I just couldn't happen without that. So I love my wife and my kids. So my wife's father-in-law is a scientist. He's been in the petroleum industry for a long time. Spent 40 years trying to figure out having a purpose. How can we help people? Let's go with what I know and let's see if we can help some burn and wound victims.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, nice.
So skin rejuvenation.
Skin rejuvenation. And got into the laboratory. He's PhD. Spent some time with many medical scientists, doctors alike, at starting in Texas, developing this kind of formulations to enhance the skin activity. So it's, let's repair
The metabolic
it.
activity of healing.
Definitely. So the healing activity, how do we do this faster, and how do we do it in such a way that the scars don't show up and all that stuff? And so he dove in, and realized that what was really doing the magic was your stem cells. And they said, well, let's focus on this. And he was really taking charge, and he says, let's focus on stem cells and see what's going on. And this is 20 years ago. There's still this like, oh my gosh, okay, stem cells, why not? And so in this research, he developed this serum that through bone marrow donors, the secretions of that stem cell activity, he could formulate a ton of activity to rejuvenate your stem cells and rejuvenate your
So older
skin.
stem cells, existing stem cells.
Not yet.
Okay.
This came after, but he did figure out a way to tell the structure of your cells to do its job faster than normal.
Okay.
And if you've got burns or scars, it'll, do a really good job of taking care of those as well.
Okay. So fast forward to today.
Today, Stemology is the only patented technology that tells your own stem cells, because we have enough in our own bodies to do the work, we just got to wake them up again. Stemology wakes your older stem cells up to rejuvenate your skin like they did when you were in your 20s. If you are at your age right now, whatever it is, and you feel like you're aging, you notice some spots or wrinkles, you put this stuff on, and in a short matter of time, say a week or two, you start to see the aging process completely stop. And then,
Because Brent is 86 years old.
Totally. So James, you just drink one small bottle a day? That's incredible. incredible. No, seriously.
nice.
It's topical.
So it's breakthrough. It's non-invasive.
Yeah.
Here's you're seeing on the screen here, folks. On the big screen, they'll bring up as an example of a before after. Mary, what do you have in the box there?
Okay, so we've got Moisture Complete. So this is just a moisturizer we're going to go with, right?
Correct.
Morning and night.
Yep.
After you cleanse.
Yep.
Serum Complete. What's SRC7?
SRC7 is the KFC Colonel's recipe for making your stem cells work to rejuvenate your skin again. This is our hero product right here. This is really what I've considered what people need to do every day, twice a day when you brush your teeth. If you want to change, the Moisture Complete's great. It's nourishment, still has the technology, but the main force of Stemology is in this little bottle of serum.
Okay.
It's a one-stop shop, does everything it should to reverse all of the signs of aging in your skin. And so what's really important to understand is that technology is the primary function of Stemology. The other function is the skincare to keep protecting your skin and nourish your skin as you go out your day. So there's nothing like it.
So we're not talking about vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, the typical skin stuff. That's
all in here.
Oh, it all is it?
All in here.
So, but it's in a proprietary blend.
Yeah, well, the technology itself is the primary source of the technology. How do I say that? But everything else, the hyaluronic acid, the collagen, the peptides, the vitamin C's. The thing that's most unique about this is that it's all plant-based. So it's all natural. There's no chemicals, there's no human byproducts, nothing of the sort.
So do you have a good cross-section of, I mean, your customer base, is it mostly women, or is it just, it's a lot of different people because there's a lot of different skin issues?
I usually say anyone with skin. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, the good, the people who have had good regimens for their whole lives, not celebrities, the good, people have had it. I've sent you guys some examples of that. Even they say, with my perfect skin at 54 years old, Stemology made a difference in my skin. Mm-hmm. And I've got great skin. You can't tell I'm 54, but even then it tightened up my skin. If you've got bad skin, you've been out in the sun, you're surfing, I'm one of those guys, and welding, let's do that. It stops the aging process. If you've got ugly skin, I'm talking people who have had, we have an example of Julie, who's my mother-in-law, love her to death. She had a skin cancer removed here. She had to do the Mohs procedure, which...
She was right there on the screen.
She did that in 8 weeks with using Stemology like you brush your teeth twice a day. That's what you get.
Get out of here.
Wow, my goodness.
She is 68 years old, beautiful.
Wow. So where are you guys in the arc of your story as a company? Are you on the shelves at this point? Are you B2C online at this point? How are you getting it?
We're online right now. You can find us.
And the website, stemologyproducts.com?
Yeah, stemologyskincare.com.
Okay. The long story short is, when you guys start, a private company starts, it's not an easy process.
No.
Because you guys have to go raise money from family and friends. You guys have to go try to get the public markets. How did you guys do on the business side of things? How did you guys start?
Well, it started out with a whole PR campaign and marketing and everything back in 2012 when this came about. They had a team of people. They had a major distribution.
But how did they raise the money for it? How did they get started originally?
It was mostly marketing and trials and let's get this out there. There's a
But they have to pay for that at some point, though, right? Did they have to raise money to start that?
Yeah, there was a little bit of campaign funding. When it became all natural, people were, let's get on Good Morning America. Let's go to all these events. Let's get all these awards. It worked to a degree, but before COVID, our biggest clientele base was in med spas and plastic surgery facilities.
Oh, I see. So
it wasn't really out there for the major public to just buy on.
It was a luxury brand, so to speak.
Which is, if there's nothing like it, shouldn't it be luxury? But the problem with having all those med spas as our clients is that when COVID hit, every one of those shut down.
Exactly.
So Stemology was on its way, right? So, but it wasn't really reinforced as a brand for everyone and attainable to everyone where it should be. And my father-in-law created this so simple and so affordable that it is for everyone. It shouldn't just go to the med spas and everything.
Is this now online only, or are you going to put it out in are you going to put it out in the med spas again and CVS and so on and so forth, or how do you plan? What's distribution look like?
Right now, distribution is online. I mean, everyone's on Amazon. We have a channel to do Amazon. We had a channel to do TikTok. But I think that when you want to value something, when you provide brand recognition and positioning for Stemology, people need to understand that it's for everyone first, and that there is nothing like it. So
your concern is you don't want to pigeonhole it into spa type arrangements where people think it's too expensive to
exactly. Yeah, this anything comparable, which I strongly believe there isn't anything, otherwise it would not be here, would be at $200 easy.
Wow.
200. I mean, ask anyone. And I won't name any other brands out there. You guys probably have seen them and heard them. Mary, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, well, and the market seems saturated with just, you don't know what to believe because there's so many things. There's so many TikTok influencers out there trying to tell you to sell their stuff.
Too.
Right, a lot of snake oil, right. So that's what,
Well, Brent, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
It's great to follow the story. So once again, website is?
StemologySkincare.com.
StemologySkincare.com. Love to see small business. Are you guys going to go public someday, or is this, are you going to take this thing and get it acquired? Yeah?
Totally. Well, we want to keep going, We want to advance our technology and...
Right.
Brett, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Brett Williams, owner, Stemology Skincare.
So,
Big Biz Show, back in a sec. Loft 100 Studios, the Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullygroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane?
Big Biz Show continues. We are in the Loft 100 Studios here in sunny Southern California. Hope everyone's having a great day.
Yes, indeed.
Mary Burton Gadwin, Greg Todorov, our executive producer, and Sully.
Hey.
Is that a Pendleton?
No. It's a made in a hurry.
Gotcha.
I don't know what this is.
Okay.
But it's,
You're not a brand name kind of guy, are you?
I don't know. I don't wear logos. I hate competing logos. You got a Nike swoosh on, and you got a freaking,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I don't like
That's
that.
Big faux pas.
Yeah.
Neither.
Me and Greg are...
Unless I'm getting paid for
Unless
it.
they're paying me and Greg.
Unless I'm getting paid
Come
for
on
it,
now.
I'm not going to wear your
Come
logo.
First of all, a couple of things. If I were to tell you that every stock, whether it be a small cap stock or a big board stock, has what's called research and analysts, would you know what I was talking about? Mary?
No, definitely not. You saw my face glaze over, right?
There was one?
I want to be the analyst for the booze stocks.
There we go.
Right? All right. No, but seriously, there is a really well-known research group called Zacks. And our next guest is a senior life sciences analyst for Zacks Small Cap Research, but he also hosts a program on YouTube called Unboxing Biotech. And he reached out to us, or one of his people reached out to us, to talk about, hey, listen, I'm watching you guys, and I'd like to see if you guys would be interested in hearing what an analyst does. I thought, we've never had that.
Love it.
In the 35 years we've been on radio and the 20 years or so we've been on TV, we've never had that. So I give you John Vandermosten, Senior Life Sciences Analyst for Zacks Small Cap Research, and of course, Unboxing Research. He's the host. What's up, buddy? Good to talk to you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm wearing the Nike swoosh you were talking about.
He must be getting paid for it.
But you're not wearing a competing Quicksilver hat.
Right.
And by the way, he can't go to church, unfortunately. Do you know why? Because they don't allow guns in church.
Oh, yeah. He must work out.
Hey, can you? You're a certified financial analyst, but can you tell? Because we've got the highest technical traders that watch this program, and we have the folks that don't understand when we say the Dow Jones goes up 10 points. What does an analyst do, and why is that important for investors?
Yeah, so I can kind of differentiate what I do versus an analyst, maybe for a big fund or something like that. Analysts have to specialize to some degree, and I used to be on the buy side, and I covered a large fund and had to cover a lot of different things. I covered retail, I covered energy, I covered healthcare. But when you're covering that many areas, you just can't be a specialist. So you need to have others you can rely on to help you understand a little bit better what's going on. So individuals like me in the role of life sciences analyst, we focus a little bit more on certain areas. So I'm the life sciences, small cap life sciences analyst at Zacks, and I cover about 18 different stocks, and I know each of them very well. Now, if you compare that to somebody who's running a big fund with 100 different names in it, they have to spread themselves a little more thinly. So what I do is I'm a little bit more focused. I know things a little bit better about them. I read into their materials a little bit more. I do extra research on it. So that's kind of one of the differentiators between what I do and kind of what a normal equity analyst would do.
John, are you getting into the weeds, though, on every single stock every single day? The ones that you're following, the 18 or 20 you mentioned?
Yeah. So I exactly. So I'll read all the materials that they put out. I'll watch all of their interviews. I'll look at all of their conference presentations, and I'll try to pick out things that they say that maybe are indicating how the stock is doing. And I also have calls with them on a regular basis. Every time they have an earnings call, I usually follow up with them on a few items. So what I try to do is go a little bit deeper, and then we put out a report after our conversations and after reviewing the materials for people who own the stock perhaps or interested in the stock, so that they can get the summary of the key information. And I help interpret it for them as well. Not all analysts kind of know the whole framework of maybe where a stock fits. So I'm able to put it in that framework as well.
So I'm sure you've never heard this question before, but what stocks do you recommend there, big fella?
Right. Well, I just initiated yesterday on a very interesting company called Ligand Pharmaceuticals. And one of the reasons I really like this is because I do get that very same question that you've asked me from everybody. John, what should I buy? And when you get the CFA designation, as you mentioned, I have, one thing they teach you about is diversification. And a lot of these small cap biotech names are not diversified, right? You need to hold a portfolio of them. And a lot of people don't want to buy a whole portfolio. They want one. So this company, Ligand Pharmaceuticals, which, by the way, I think is close to where you got, they were originated close to where you guys are in San Diego. They have a portfolio of over 100 different assets in the biotech and pharmaceutical space. So you can get a bunch of diversification with one stock. So the ticker symbol on that is LGND. Really like what they're doing. They seem to have a lot of opportunity. There's a bunch of other companies that are in this similar area as them, but Ligand is unique because they're focused on a narrow area of about investment size of 20 to 40 million.
John,
a lot of the guys are bigger than that.
John, we're short on time today, but I want to have you back on a weekly basis if you're willing to do that. And also, I want to promote your unboxingbiotech.com. You're doing kind of an interview type show on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, where you're interviewing the folks that are in and around biotech. And I encourage people to go take a look at that. Unboxingbiotech.com. His name is John Vandermosten. You just committed to it, pal. On national TV, you're coming back. It's like the mob. Once you're in, you can't get out.
That's right.
Yep. John Vandermosten, Senior Life Science Analyst, Zacks, Small Cap Research, and Unboxing Biotech. Go to unboxingbiotech.com. You'll see more of him coming up. That's it for us. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. We'll see you next time.